Catherine Luckner, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm the president for the SKA Association. So we have not a quorum of board members today, even though we do have one on Zoom, unless someone else wants to check in with me. So we won't be making any decisions today or voting on issues, but we can still hold a meeting, just so that you all know that. All right, the first thing is to have Sergeant Smith, who has joined us by Zoom from his sheriff's car, and we're looking forward to the report that he has for us. Sergeant Smith, are you ready?
Yeah, thanks, Catherine. Can you guys hear me okay?
Thank you, I can hear you great, thank you.
Okay, I apologize. I wish I would have been able to make it in person. I'd have another engagement here around 5 o'clock, and I had to make it too, and I just couldn't make it there in person. And then I log on to Zoom, and I'm having difficulties with my camera. So you guys are just going to have to deal with listening to me today instead of actually getting to see me. But like every month, we try to get here and talk about the ongoings at the sheriff's office as it pertains to Siesta Key. And, you know, from September 1st to the 30th, we had about 291 calls for service on the key. 18 of them, or about 6% of the total, are what we classify as the person or property crimes that's been classified under the NIBRS. And if you pay attention to reports from months past, we typically stick around that 5 to 6% in that category, which is a good number. It's not a bad number to be around. Luckily we live in a great community and have a great community out there that take care of each other and look out for one another. But with the same thing that I've mentioned in the past, I think I may have slacked these last couple months because we had 3 vehicle burglaries in the month of September, and all 3 of them involved unlocked vehicles. I know I've talked about it almost every meeting I come to. Please lock your cars, hide your valuables, take them inside with you, set an alarm on your phone at night if you have to remind yourself to lock your car door, because just a simple act like that can prevent you from being a victim of a vehicle burglary. And it's that simple. Most people, they going out trying to commit vehicle burglaries, they check car handles, and if they're locked, they leave them alone and move on to the next one. So please help us out, help yourselves out, remind your neighbors, lock your car doors. It can help out tremendously in preventing from being a victim. We had a couple other calls around the key, which involved a couple batteries, basic simple assaults. 2 I think were domestic batteries, and I think the other one was a battery on law enforcement, which there was an arrest made in that. But I think all 3 of them occurred down in the village, and there wasn't anything too spectacular about them. But for the most part, the month of September, as far as the sheriff's office go, was pretty, I hate to use the word, but slow. The beach hasn't been extremely busy. It's been nice. It's a nice time of year. The weather's starting to cool down a little bit. Just speaking with some of the business owners in the village and in the South Village, it seems like business is up and that people are still doing better Septembers now than in years past. So that's always a pleasant sign to see. So we hope it keeps continuing that way and it doesn't get too crazy, but we got the holidays coming up and we are already preparing for them, working with the Siesta Key Chamber of Commerce and getting ready for the Light Up the Village parade. I think they're going to have a Safe Walk Halloween night coming up towards the end of the month. We got Santa visiting the South Village in December, so we are geared up and ready to go. You'll start seeing here probably next month, the horses might be coming out a little more often. We like to try to get out around the time of the Crystal Classic, make a presence out there. We've got a lot of vendors come out on the beach, a lot of people coming out to look at the sandcastles. So we always like to be ready and show a strong presence out there for that. But other than that, we're pretty good. We're moving on and open things up if anybody has any questions.
Anyone on the Zoom call have questions or comments or things that you had questions about that you might have been involved with? Will we get a copy of your report like you gave us the last time, Sergeant Smith?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Catherine. I emailed you. It was a little bit late. I was in another meeting when I got that email from you. But I sent it to you. I think I attached it to that email I replied that you sent earlier. If you didn't get it, let me know. I can resend it to you.
Super. For those of you that you call it the I2 something, what was the acronym? What does that mean?
So it's the acronym is I, the number 2A, and that's part of the Sheriff's Office initiative from a few years back. The Sheriff Knight implemented, which was the intelligence to action. So basically, we tried to use our crime analysts to look over all the crime stats that have been going on in the county, certain spots, high crime spots, low crime spots, and then analyze all that information in order to give us, the deputies, the people on the street, some actionable intelligence. So it's with a hope to be able to use crime data that's been going on and information to tip reports, anything we get that we can put into actionable intelligence to help prevent crime from occurring.
That sounds great. I really appreciate the stats, and we will have then 2 months. We haven't put them up yet, but we will do that, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey, Catherine, this is Roland Clark. I have a quick question for
go ahead, Roland. One of our directors is on the line with us. Go ahead.
Hi, Sergeant. How are you? This might not be a topic that may be addressed to the Sheriff's Office, but I was just wondering what the situation was with the coyotes that have been seem to be pretty prevalent on the key now. If there was any talk about removal of those or issues with them. I know in my neighborhood I see them quite a bit. I know there's more than one or two. So I was just wondering if that was an issue for you or some other department.
Yeah. So this is funny you mentioned that, because yesterday, I think it was yesterday, a deputy mentioned to me that somebody had stopped him on the street and mentioned a coyote that was kind of across from the public beach and back in the neighborhood. And yeah, that's kind of the first I'd heard about it. And now you bring it up. So, but yes, it is an issue that we can handle. Not necessarily my guys or my guys at the key, but you can call us and we can respond and try to locate it, and then also contact our animal services bureau, and they can come out and set up traps and with an attempt to kind of capture them and relocate them to a better location.
Yeah, and I personally don't have an issue with it. I mean, I've seen them all over, really, but some of my neighbors, they have small pets, and they're a little bit concerned because we have seen them walking through our neighborhood at different times of the night. Like I say, I personally didn't have an issue with them. I just see them crossing my path. But again, some of my neighbors wanted me to ask. So I am.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Like I said, that's not a primary function of the actual sheriff's office, but that's why we also have, as part of the sheriff's office, is our animal control services. So, and that is what they do. And they work with us. They get dispatched just like us off our same radios. They work on our same computer system. They're a part of the sheriff's office. So if you call in to the non-emergency number and let them know you have a coyote problem, or you see one in your backyard or wherever it is, they will dispatch. It's usually dual dispatch, so sometimes we'll get the call too, along with somebody from animal services to go out there and try to address the problem.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Sorry,
no problem.
What is the phone number for that call?
I'm sorry, was that for me?
Yes, sir. What is the phone number for them to reach the folks to get through to animal services if they ever needed to?
That's a great question. I'm pulling it up right now. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I have it right here. So they can call, it's 941-861-9500.
Well, that's great. Thank you. Then we have another question.
Yes, I have a question. My name is Barbara Colangelo. I'd like to ask Sergeant Smith.
Sure.
Sergeant, well, first of all, thank you for your services. We really appreciate it in the neighborhood here off of Beach Road. I want to know, I've had a couple of calls I've needed to make with a hotel house that's right across the street from me. That's really been having tenants in there just disturbing the peace in all hours of the night, 3 in the morning, 3 and 4 in the morning. And I understand that sometimes these calls aren't priority for you based on your manpower, but is there anything that we could do to, when these things happen, to expedite some kind of response? Because we were up like all night last weekend, and I did talk with Deputy Dwight Mattis. He was very nice, and but I just wanted to ask, how do you usually deal with those types of calls?
Yeah, so we handle all calls based on kind of a priority type dispatching, and we've always prided ourselves on the fact that if you call, we'll come. That's our job. That's what we're here for, and we do the best that we possibly can to get that done. Now, if there's it's kind of hard to say. It just depends on the night or what's going on. There may be, an issue down at the south end of the key or Turtle, and it may take somebody a while to get there, but they should come there. One thing I've talked about in the past that always helps with noise disturbances and the way that the county's code is set up is that we need to have a complainant. We can't be a victim of the crime or of being in violation of the county ordinance of a noise violation. Law enforcement cannot be the victim. So we need a victim, and so we would need a complainant. So usually when you call in, the dispatcher or the call taker will ask you if you want to meet with the deputy. And if I always recommend to say yes, you can do it. Usually you can do it over the phone if you'd like. If you don't want to meet him in person, you can say, yes, I do want to meet with the deputy, but can you please have him call me, give him your phone number, and they'll call you. Or if you want to meet with them, they'll walk up to your door and meet with you there. But that always helps us and gives us a little more teeth, if you will, to try to help enforce those county ordinances for the noise violation.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't want to meet with them in the middle of the night, but I did end up meeting with them. So you say that will expedite someone coming as if I agree to meet with them.
I do. Go ahead. I do have someone in the room that wants to ask a question.
One more, Sergeant Smith. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, Sergeant Smith, again, thank you for your service. I want to reiterate that. Of those calls that you give a list to our association, are any of them specified to be noise related, like Beverly Emmett, who I invite to join our group about hotel houses? I wonder how I can try to decipher how many of those calls are actually coming from these types of properties.
Yeah, so like I've talked about before, we break our calls down into the type of call that it is. And I'm looking through it is on there. The report that I provided to Catherine, it will be on there. You'll see on there that it's every type of call we responded to is on there. Then it has a number of calls next to it. So in the month of September, we responded to 8 noise disturbances on Siesta Key.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, officer.
I do not.
No problem. Is that it?
That's it.
Unless anyone else has new questions, I think we will let you go back to getting out there if you're on duty today. I have to say, Sergeant Smith, he's been willing to call in even from home when he's not on duty, so we're very lucky to have you. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. I look forward to hopefully being able to see you guys all in person again next month.
We hope so too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Right. Did you want to switch now to a new speaker?
I want to switch to our presenter.
Okay, good. And I need to stay.
Okay. You have to speak to the microphone, but we need to move to the next.
Yeah, it's just click. Barbara Coangelo. Can you hear me? Okay, never mind.
Yes.
Oh, you did? Oh, I just wanted to say, can you send an email to info@siestakieassociation.com and just make a note of the address of the hotel house, and I'll get back with you because we're working on things, in fact, with Sergeant Smith
and I'll get you up to speed on what we're doing.
Fantastic. Thank you. I will do that.
I've got to apologize to everybody. It's a new version of Zoom, and this version does not show people unless I go to the gallery. So I haven't been going to the gallery because we don't want to have everybody that doesn't want to be on the screen on the screen.
So only those that are speaking and ready to participate, you would show.
That's not the case. It's no one unless unless I get them all.
Okay.
That's the way it is.
So we're all getting used to some kind of new way of doing things. Every time we do this, it's new. Yep. So we're really looking forward when we see everybody's happy faces right here. So sorry, just work with us for a little while.